The Swedish Energy Agency, we're a government authority working for a sustainable energy system. Next slide, please. And looking at Sweden, we're responsible for just a small share of the greenhouse gases, the global greenhouse gases, but the intention is to contribute to much more larger solution, part of the solution to reduce the same. Doing that, of course, international collaboration is essential. So next slide, please. And about us, the Swedish Energy Agency, we are a government authority responsible for working on these topics. We're part of the Ministry of Climate and Enterprise. And our mission includes everything from research, funding of research, policy, information and statistics. And we will see more about that later on. Next slide, please. And talking about the energy system, we're working on, as I said, everything from research to policy, and also, of course, as I said, statistics. And I hand over to Helena, who will give you some examples about these statistics.
Thank you, Ludwig. Let's see if I can now control the presentation instead. My name is Helena Bernon. I'm a colleague of Ludwig, also a business developer at the Swedish Energy Agency. And now I will give you many graphs. Apologize for that, but that is the best way we believe to illustrate the energy transition that we had in Sweden. So with this first one, is trying to show in what means we've been phasing out the fossil fuel, crude oil and petroleum products in our energy mix since the 1970s. Instead, biofuels, mainly in the transport and in the industrial sector, have been taking a larger share. We have a lot of forest here, so it's quite a given that we would use that. Also, since the mid-80s, hydropower and nuclear power have been a steady source of supplied energy for us. What might not be so obvious in this slide, you can see it in the top corner there, wind and solar power and other renewable energy sources are now in the forefront of taking bigger shares. That is more visual when you look at the electricity production. This is the complete energy production. And we will talk a little bit about that specifically at the end of mine and Ludwig's presentation. So what have we used this for? Well, in the residential transport and industry sector, it's been more or less stable over the last decades. We've been able to maintain the consumption quite stable, an increase, but now we see a decline, and we are approaching the levels that we had in the 1970s. We work heavily on energy efficiency, but also using recovered energy and energy that otherwise would go to waste. As for the different sectors, in the transport sector, we have still a big challenge phasing out the petroleum products. Biofuels have helped a lot, but we see that it is in the electricity sector, so electrical vehicles, charging stations, that we will be the success story in the future for phasing out petroleum products in the transport sector. As for the industry, I mentioned biofuels is a good source of energy. In the next decades, we are transforming our heavy industries like the steel industry into becoming driven by electricity instead. You might have heard of big projects like Hybrid and H2 Green Steel. And this means that we will need to produce a massive amount of electricity in the next years. So that is the challenge for us. But doing so, we will be able to phase out really the fossil fuel consumption in the heavy industries. As for the residential sector, for quite a while, we've been able to let go of most of the petroleum and natural gas consumption. Instead, we have a pretty solid district heating system. I will give you some more insights on that in a bit. And also, we use a lot of electricity to drive heat pumps, but also, as common in the rest of Europe, it's quite many households now that install solar panels to be self-sufficient on both heat and electricity in their buildings. So the heat market, well, how do we phase out the fuel oil? Well, as I mentioned, we have a pretty good district heating systems. We like our heat pumps, over 1 million installed heat pumps as of now, maybe even more today. And also using a lot of electric heating. And that's for the district heating. What is that and what is the fuel mix? Well, today the fuel mix actually consists of less than 1% fossil fuels. Instead, we use recovered heat from the industry, but we also produce a lot of heat for this system by burning municipal waste and also by burning waste and residue from mainly the forestry industry, which is quite big in Sweden. And with that, I think I will hand over back to Ludwig.
Thank you, Helena. Unfortunately, I can't really see the presentation, but I'll try anyway. Now we're looking at the graph of the installed electricity capacity. And what we can see here, this is also, you should see the same trend that Helena was telling you about the transformation of the energy systems. We can see that from beginning of the century, basically the last 15 years, we see that the wind power has been picking up quite significantly. If we're looking back some 30 years back, we see that the power system was consisting of hydro and mainly nuclear. And small chunks of other sources. Today, it's actually wind power and hydropower is covering for the majority. And nuclear is kind of 15%. And then we have different kinds of combined heat and power and combustion technologies covering the rest. And next slide, please. So then how did we manage to do this transformation? There has been a lot of different measures that have been in place. Of course, we have the energy the taxes. That is actually a fiscal tax. It's not really established to give any specific directions in the energy system. But the EU emission trading scheme is one of the strong instruments to create this direction, and electricity certificates. These are designed to direct the investments to the energy source and energy technology that is most viable at the time. So that has been one strong engine to create this transformation of the wind power sector. Talking about the heavy industry, we've had some successful programs directed to this sector related to energy efficiency. One of these programs, we call it PFE. It was designed as an instrument for large companies to get a reduction of taxes linked to the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and the level of energy efficiency measures in the systems. Ourselves, we're working with different kinds of investments, grants and programs for both the local level, but also international collaborations. So with that, I think we're gonna get an example of how this could look like when we move from basic research to a large sector developing around one technology. So I hand over to our colleague Göran, who is going to tell us more about the battery industry that is coming up in Sweden.
Thank you, Ludwig. Hello, everyone, and good morning. My name is Göran Stegrin. I'm a colleague of Helena and Ludwig. I work as an international market developer at Swedish Energy Agency. I'm going to talk about batteries by Sweden. So let me see if I can take control. Hopefully this will work. Yeah, fantastic. Great, batteries. This is a topic that is on many people's mind right now. And as you heard previously, it's one of the key technologies that is probably going to support the transition to a sustainable energy system. Just give you a short background. We talk about the Paris Agreement. This is covering more than 70% of all global emissions of climate gases. The majority of emissions is from the power and transport sectors. And transports, they are a driver of battery demand. That is where the development and the consumption is peaking. Unfortunately, there is a significant gap between the supply and demand for batteries, all the way from extraction of raw material, all the way to use and finally recycling. And if you look at the deadlines for going away from internal combustion engines, it's getting really close. I have a picture here. It's showing that it's about 2035 at the latest, so it's getting really close. And you also see the demand is really increasing a lot. So what is the current situation? Well, you all know that there is a war in Ukraine. There's been a pandemic that create havoc on the supply chain. There is long lead times. The electricity prices has peaked. The inflation. There is a lot of things that creating a problem for this transition actually. So I think this is a good way of expressing the current situation. It's a perfect storm. There is a lot of challenges, but I still think there is a good possibility to really create this new industry for Sweden, for the Nordics, and for European Union to compete on a global scale. If you look upon Sweden, we are a quite large country. We have a lot of resources up north. We have mineral resources that actually we discovered quite a large deposit now. It's about 1 million ton of rare earth materials. That is a crucial part in many things, not batteries alone, but also in motors and other things. We have strong automotive sector, you know, Volvo and Scania, Volvo cars, they are all going for electric transmissions and propulsion systems. We have actually a first gigafactory up north. We have a good, as you've seen, stable, green, affordable energy system shown by Helena and Ludwig. It's really comparably cheap still and stable. That's very important for a gigafactory, for instance. And we have had a lot of establishment actually of international players in the battery industry. They are really looking into the Swedish opportunities and finding the green electricity system is actually a good way of producing batteries. We have a quite extensive system of battery players in Sweden, and this slide here shows part of the Swedish value chain going all the way from raw materials to active materials. Here is also international players, Senior, for instance. They are from China, but we also have Swedish players. This is Talga, they are an Australian one. Going all the way to cell manufacturing, we have a big factory, as I mentioned, gigafactory up north. They are planning to expand. It's called Northvolt. But we also have various players all the way from the big size, big players, all the way to startup companies. We have pack users. We have application, as I mentioned. We have the big OEMs. We integrate it also into other applications, not always mobility we're talking about, also used for stabilizing the grid. At least, last but not least, is recycling. We are dependent upon really reusing the materials in the batteries. So that is also something that is a lot of focus on. And in the background, we have the authorities like us, but there are also academias. There are different research and institutes working to support the whole value chain. And the slide, the picture on the right here is about the current situation when it comes to different cases of interest when it comes to battery production. And you might see the small picture up here. This is a year ago, and it is possible to see that the number of establishment is really increasing a lot, and I think this is something that will continue for the upcoming years. So the scene is setting right now as we speak. It will take a couple of years, and then this stage will probably be set for the European battery ecosystem. But as you see, a lot of things going on in Sweden and the Nordic countries. This is about what I've talked a lot about was big factories, gigafactories, but we're also working a lot when it comes to next generation batteries. This is a ranking made by Bloomberg New Energy Finance, and maybe a little bit difficult to see, but I put 3 arrows here, green ones, and we have Finland on 4th place, Norway 5th, and Sweden 8th. So this is about the top innovating countries when it comes to battery technology, and I would say we talk a lot about the Nordic countries. We work a lot together. We trust and collaborate since many years, and together we are actually one of the leading regions on a global scale, actually, when it comes to developing new battery technologies. Next slide. Yeah, this is a little deep dive into Sweden. If you would like to access the Swedish battery innovation ecosystem, as I call it, there are a number of nodes or regions, depending on what you're looking for, that could be interesting for you to get in touch with, find out more. I can assist you if this is of interest. We have the Västerås area. It's here. They are working a lot with heavy applications, not that much cars, but more heavy vehicle and stationary applications. They have a mobility test center. Northvolt, for instance, they have their big research facility. I think it's 1,000 strong staff. In the west part of Sweden, we have in the Gothenburg area, we have the big OEMs, Volvo Cars and the Volvo Truck. We also have a lot of research and test centers. In the southern part of Sweden, we have the more basic research, actually going from TRL 1. So it's really top-notch research installations if you like to really dig deep into material science. Looking at Linköping, in this area, a lot of thin film. We have a lot of exciting things going on here regarding renewable materials for batteries. We have Uppsala and Stockholm very close to each other. They have research going on here as well as testing. And up north, of course, we have the more focus on the raw material extraction, but also production. And if you would like to get in touch with any of these organizations or nodes or actors, we have a widespread networks of contact points. Of course, we can be one to guide anyone that is interested to get in touch with them. But depending on what you're looking for, we can assist you to guide you to the right incubator or science park or the local investment promotion agency if you would like to get in touch with any one of these I mentioned here. Something about a concrete case. This is a new installation. It's called SEAL. Don't ask me what SEEL stands for, but it's Swedish Electric Transport Laboratory. That's when you pronounce it. This is comprised of 3 different sites, one in Gothenburg, one in Borås, that is about 50 kilometers east of Gothenburg, and then in Nykvarn, that's south of Stockholm. And this is a facility that is being constructed as we speak. They are having their inauguration in a couple of months. This is a huge site. Probably Gothenburg is the largest one. They work with basically everything from testing buses, electric trucks, all the way to individual cells and modules. And they do, everything from complete vehicle axle. They have climate testing, vibration cycling, so on and so forth. I would like also to mention specifically Borås. They have safety tests, and this is really something really unique. They are building actually something more like a concrete bunker inside, so they can really test the strength of batteries, what's happened when it goes wrong. And this is also very close to inauguration. This is something that is open. Of course, the Swedish players will use this a lot, but there is still possibilities for external players coming from Europe or anywhere else to use these facilities. Sorry, I was a little bit. Next one. Yeah, this is another case. This is more on the innovation side. This is a company called Altris. They are working with sodium-ion batteries, mainly for stationary use. This is an interesting case. One of the founders actually came from Australia, and he found really good ground for taking his innovation to a market here in Sweden. So what we did is actually we have supported, the Swedish Energy Agency supported this technology even before the company was founded, before 2017. And this has been going on, our support to this technology all the way now they are almost on the verge to start scaling up of the production. And this is a quite typical picture. We have the founders, Reza, that is not a typical Swedish name. I think he's from Iran. William is from Australia, and Ronnie is probably from Denmark, but they're working in Uppsala. And I think this is a really good example of what we can do in Sweden and the way we collaborate between each other and other countries. So I would like to end with one example, what we're doing close to, sorry, this is a little bit too quick on the trigger. Can we go back? I'm trying to, I don't know what's happening now. That's the slide I'm looking for. What's cooking right now? Okay. Hope it's staying like this. This is one activity we are doing as in our unit. We are preparing for expedition, we call it. It's basically a delegation with more than 10 Swedish companies going to Germany, southern Germany. We're going to visit Munich, Karlsruhe, and Heidelberg in the end of May. And our purpose really to find out collaboration opportunities between Swedish battery companies and German companies, and hopefully that will be something that will be fruitful. So this is something concrete that we are working on right now, just to give you an example. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions about batteries, please reach out to the organizers or send me an email. I have my email is in the last slide, I think. No, yeah, there it is. Göran Stegrin. So you have my contact information here if you'd like to know anything more about batteries in Sweden or anything else about batteries. So thank you very much, and hand over to Ann maybe. Thank you very much.
Yes, great. Thank you very much, Göran, Helena, Ludwig. And now we are going to continue. We will continue with the exhibiting companies at the Swedish Energy Pavilion. We have 10 very interesting companies with us at the pavilion this year. And today at this eWorldwide webinar, 9 of them are going to present. 2 of them, unfortunately, had emergency at home with sick kids and so on, so they are excused, but we will hand over the presentations afterwards as well for your information. But the first one presenting now for us is the Swedish company Elon Road. Thank you. Toby, it's your turn now.
It's wonderful, thank you. I'm just trying to request control here. Hello, everybody. I'm Toby Honland. I'm Strategic Growth Director at Elon Road. We are based in southern Sweden, in Lund. We had some slides on that before, and it's also been pointed out that by Helena, I believe that EVs are indeed the success story of the future. So that's where we come in. I'm trying to forward the slides. There we are, and then they are quicker than I'm thinking. Very good. So this is the first slide. We built in the road integrated charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. We charge the cars while they are driving, which is quite a novel thing. And why are we doing this? I'm coming to that in a second. The e-mobility transformation that we are about to embark on, and we already have embarked on, indeed has a couple of drawbacks, as we all know. So we have queues and issues of acceptance with the chargers. We have space and uptime problems in commercial sectors because you can't charge cars as quickly as you used to fill them with gasoline or diesel or whatever you used. The batteries are extremely heavy, a huge environmental impact that we have to assess here. And we have grid limitations. We cannot, in the peak hours, provide the power that we need to provide for all the EVs to charge. How go we about this? We can save time because we integrated charging into the road instead of cables, which means we can charge the cars while they are loading and unloading. We need less space, therefore it's unobtrusive. It is indeed made to be run over, which is very good if you are a commercial actor, and cheap. We can reduce batteries, which is a really cool point here, because if we keep charging cars while they're driving, any vehicle really, we can lower the batteries by about 70%. And this has been verified now by a lot of independent research. We can power manage, as we are distributing the energy actively. We're streaming electricity, as we like to say, which means we get away from peaks. And obviously, we're making it autonomous ready, because you do want to have a vehicle charging autonomously when you're driving autonomously. In terms of business, we're working with a lot of actors on the market. Currently, we're going in 2 strategic directions that are developed in parallel. On the right, you see the motorway public road approach, and on the left, we have more the stationary charging system. In the middle, we're working with closed loop systems, which is a fancy name for everything that is cordoned off, pretty much airports and ports and so forth. And that sees a combination of both technologies. I will not go into further detail because I know time is short, but I would like to leave you with my contact details here. Please reach out to me. I look forward to meeting you IRL in Essen in Germany very soon. And I will hand over to the next company, to Climate Check. On you go.
Klaus Berglow from Climate Check. And we are dealing with energy efficiency in air conditioning, refrigeration, and heat pump, everything that has a refrigeration process. And these systems, they are assumed to work as long as they're cooling down the system, but commissioning and maintenance is not delivering efficiency. So there is, in spite of being one of the biggest electrical consumers in the net grids, maybe 20% of the global electricity used by refrigeration processes. And in many buildings, it's 30 to 60% of the consumption. In spite of that, they are not working efficiently, and there are way too many failures. In almost all sites, you can save a quarter of the energy by making sure that the system is working, and you can avoid almost all the failures that occur without warning. And of course, it's very efficient to take care of the problems when they emerge rather than when they stop the system. And I mean, all systems today are monitored. There is a lot of sensors in the buildings and in the units, but it's not used to make the information out of it. So what Climate Check has developed is a method to analyze the refrigeration process. In most systems today, the sensors required is already there. So it's a question of collecting the data and making the analytics that is required to be able to see efficiency on a component level. So Climate Check added a totally new layer of information where you can see the total efficiency of the systems. Traditionally, people have looked at CUP, which is a very challenging topic unless you're in a rating laboratory, because CUP is changing continuously depending on the load and conditions. So it's not very valuable information to know the CUP because it requires such an expertise to go from that. Whereas if we look at the sub-efficiencies of the cycle, compressor, condenser, evaporator, you can get an early warning as soon as you have any performance deviation in the system. And our technology is allowing to bring out this information 24/7, or you can connect sensors or connect to the existing sensors and have detailed analytics in just a few minutes. So this is changing how systems are being monitored, and it's going to be a basis for predictive maintenance that is a very high topic today. So, I mean, this is not a very new method for us. We started in the mid-80s when the method was patented. Today, it's recognized by International Energy Agency, for example. We are right now implementing in Germany a benchmarking platform for the German Energy Agency, and we have long relations with many of the global players. So the method is well proven and available today. So I look forward to have in real life meetings with anybody who is interested in making air conditioner, refrigeration, and heat pump systems more efficient and avoid failures. So thank you very much. And now I think NODA Intelligent Systems is going to take some other technologies.
Hello, my name is Ina Sulemo, and I'm heading the sales and marketing organization at NODA. Let me see if this works. Yes. I would like to draw your attention to one of the most pressing challenges we are facing today. It's heating and cooling. And why that? Because heating and cooling account for almost half of the energy consumption in our society today. So we need to make our thermal processes more efficient and sustainable. At NODA, we have realized that it's not only important to control the amount of energy, but also how and when the energy is produced and consumed. We have 20 years of leading innovation in thermal AI, and we offer energy services, dynamic optimization, and predictive analytics. The core of NODA system is a self-learning algorithm that learns the behavior of a building or an energy system. It measures, analyzes, and active control heating and cooling in a building or an energy system. With NODA system, you can get up to 15% long-term network flexibility and up to 50% short-term network flexibility. For example, when you want to cut moron peaks. And you can also reduce cost saving by 20%. And when you optimize the energy system, it's actually you're balancing the supply, the demand, and the distribution. So actually the entire value chain. And by that, you can lower the supply temperature, or you can reduce heat losses and narrow sections, or you can create much more flexibility in the system and also provide some actionable insights to people and organizations. The result is increased capacity of renewables, reduced dependency on fossil fuels, and optimized capital return. Today, we work with companies in Europe like NG and, for example, Energiewende Garching in Germany. In Sweden, we work with energy companies like Kraftringen and Norenergi. And in China, we're working with companies like Runa. We also have partners like Kamstrup, Siemens, and Schneider, where we provide either functionality or we co-create digital solutions. So in short, NODA's advanced AI algorithm is a powerful tool, and it can help us to achieve greater efficiency and more sustainable future. Thank you. So I'm handing over to Modio.
What we are a small company owned by the founders and developers located in Linköping. We are focusing on the IoT platform for facility assets. We have been around, our product has been around for a decade almost, and we have been facing from the start some of today's challenges that are unconnected buildings. Just to make a building online has been a very difficult task, and the solutions has often been legacy systems that create lock-ins for for the customers. And security has grown. We have been aware of this from the very start, but now we think that the market is also ready for secure systems, and that this is interesting. And we go to the next slide for this short. So there are buildings and facilities where we have legacy systems and older protocols that are hard to implement, but it can be done. And we make it possible to have this in a cloud solution. And there are so many IoT systems out there that states the same. What we are focusing about making this flexible with open standards and making it possible to store the cloud data on your customer servers. So you don't have to be in some public cloud. You have full control of your data. And we also take the security part very serious. So we keep our devices, the edge devices out in the field, updated with many updates every year, so they get the security holes patched that arises all from open source, and it's a thing to build the applications on top of it, so we can store data and we can also control the edges with configurations. Some use cases. I'm going to go to buildings. One of the use cases is the third one in this graph, that is peak shaving using battery storage in a building. So there are PV cells, PV plant, and batteries, and there are. But the batteries kicks in as soon as the house's demands over a certain peak, and reduces it and gets loaded again when the energy allows it. We have installations all over the world, in New York, as in the first case. The other is in Stockholm, Sweden. The third is also in Sweden, and the fourth in Stella in Mogadishu, where we monitor an off-grid installation with diesel set engines and power plant and batteries and so forth. It can be used in many cases, and we try to be an alternative to some of Microsoft's or the other big players' IoT systems that makes also kind of locking effects. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hold on while I request remote control.
Under view of options.
Yep, it's there. Thank you. My name is Joost van der Linden. At Elite, I'm responsible for business development in the Benelux area, Denmark, and also for us, the emerging market of Germany. What is it that we do at Elite? Well, in fact, we are experts at making sense of energy data. Typically, and it's not something that we thought of ourselves, but was measured by some of our customers, that could bring a 7% of energy saving compared to a control group overall. And what we do, we take energy from various sources, of course, from meters, from weather data, from market data, smart home data, and what alike, where we combine these into accessible and comprehensive insights to end customers. We also combine those with upgrades that an energy company, for instance, would like to bring to the customer with certain relevance, so that customers can immediately see what a investment for such an upgrade would cost and what it bring to them. And we can also bring all kinds of reporting profile data for energy companies, but also for clients of us that are in the financial sector. We all know that there is a energy crisis going on. Well, some people think it's over, but still a lot of the issues still exist, and at least prices for most residential customers are very high. Governments do help out, but in the end, the cheapest energy is the energy that you do not use. So if you want to really save more, customers have to start acting on that, and that is a bit of a challenge. It appears that most customers are still quite inactive. So what we try to do, we try to help these customers to switch from an off state into an on state. We do that via a customer journey that is both personalized, easy to use, and value adding. And that journey starts with creating awareness. You can only act on something if you are aware of what it is all about. And some examples are just showing, of course, how much energy did you use. Those are energy that you're expected to be using, how you compare to peer groups, and also, maybe that's good to mention, even without additional hardware in the home, we're even able to show residential customers to show the energy consumption in different energy usage categories like washing, heating, etc. Once we're on track on improving the awareness of customers, then we start informing customers by notifications and recommendations on how to even improve their actions. What they can do: lower temperature on the thermostat saves a tangible amount of energy and of costs. But maybe things that you're not aware as a user, we still notify you, because suddenly in a certain night there is a high consumption. You will see, we will notify you, so then you do know what's happening. And then, as a last step in this three-step customer journey, is the upgrades that I mentioned before, where we can link any advice to propositions that our client, the energy company, would like to bring to their customers. We bring our solutions in all phases of the energy transition. So both if there's a conventional meter, which is typically the case in Germany currently, as we all know, but also Germany will on the short term move to smart meters when we can unleash more aspects. And of course, if we would ever go to more IoT-based data collection, we can help out there. But it works already now. That's the big message here. So in short, what Elix does, we bring actionable energy insights with lasting engagement. Customers keep coming back and deliver sustainable changes. And we do that based by delivering an API or embeddable web apps, or even wide mobile apps that usually increase digital engagement, bring a 7% energy saving, and also increase loyalty. And of course, we're looking forward to meeting all of you at eWorld in Hall 5, stand 702 at the Swedish Energy Pavilion. Looking forward to that. And now it's hand over to Scarben.
Thank you very much, Joost. Interesting to hear about Elix. And yes, I'm Sten Mogård. I'm one of the founders of Scarben. And we are in the area of improving building performance by recovering energy and providing good indoor air quality. Now I have to request remote control. Request. So, our solutions. We are active in basically three areas. Our main area is ventilation with energy recovery. Then we are working with air purifiers for a better indoor quality. And then we work with gray water solutions, recovering the energy from the warm water back to the house. And these products that we have are communicating through controllers over to cloud and over to an app, like all the smart homes of today request, and even more the smart cities of the future. Our competitive advantages, our upside, our USPs. One is our unique mechanical designs that makes our products much lighter, much more silent, and they are very corrosion resistant. Then we have our thermodynamic algorithms, which are very appreciated by our customers. We have our controller solutions, which I mentioned, with the cloud solution and mobile app. And then we have a design tool designing all these different units called the Skaven Selector, which is also a cornerstone in our work with industrial IoT and Industry 4.0. And where have we found our niche? Well, if we have the building size on the y-axis and the complexity on the x-axis, we started off with our main products, ventilation with energy recovery, in large buildings with very complex problems demanding complex solutions. From there, we have gone and are now covering the whole of the right-hand side here. And we are especially successful when it comes to renovation, but we also do new builds. Industrial and public customers we have, and our dehumidification knowledge is also very much appreciated. And then, of course, the industries with aggressive conditions. And we're going down to eWorld, really looking forward to it. And we are, almost all of us are Deutschsprachig, so that is pretty good if you're going to have a dialogue in the country of Germany. Looking forward to see you all down there.
Thank you. So I'm Henrik, responsible for the MEA operations of Skycraft. We are a software company based in Stockholm. We have global presence. We work with grid inspection, and we work with the DSO, like E.ON, for example. That's a very known name, but also Svenska Kraftnät, Iberdrola, and ESP. So overhead line infrastructure, that's our target market. So the energy demand will double in by 2045. We know all about that, and that's a complex thing due to supply and demand. So I think we can move over to the next slide here. This is one of our clients, and it's a quite important message from him. So to take care of this complexity in demand, on the supply, we need a robust power grid, and we have that solution. We can move over to the next slide, please. Can we change slide? Thank you. Yes, so 70% of the power grid, it's aging or in critical condition. With our solution, we found up to 1,000% more defects on the grid, the electronic components, and we categorize them in 4 levels. So as far as we know, we are the only solution provider that can predict and simulate grid aging. That's a quite important thing for the grid companies. And we can illustrate that if we move to the next slide. So this is typical stakeholders in a grid owning company, utility. And they are always over-invested to be sure, because that the power line is up and running due to the penalties in the revenue frame from the EU. And
we offer a unified platform so all these stakeholders can optimize their operations, and then they can also simulate the company as such. For example, where the optimal spending in maintenance and asset management, where that fulfills. So the maintenance cost is always provided in the revenue frame, but the important thing is to optimize where you do your maintenance. Yeah, and if we move over to next slide, if you have time further on, please click the link and see a demo how it works. It's an AI visualization platform, both in 2D and 3D. And we really look forward to come down to Essen and see you and all the rest of the audience, of course. Thank you.
So Unimi Solutions, as the abbreviation stands for Universal Modular Infrastructure. We offer to the market an anchoring base and a pedestal that can anchor any EV charger or EV charger box. Next slide, please. So as we're now heading into large-scale outplacement of EV chargers, the lack of standardization when it comes to design of chargers is a major barrier for introducing this on a larger scale. And groundwork is by far the single largest cost driver when it comes to public installation of EV chargers. It can consist of up to 80% of the total cost. Next slide, please. So we solve this by a patented and modular precast foundation that can accommodate to any charger model. And among our clients is, or brands that we anchor with, is very well known to the market, like for instance, ABB, Mennekes, Zaptec, ChargePoint, and so forth. Next slide, please. And our one pole can also accommodate any charger box, meaning that we're looking at a universal way of installing the chargers, whether they're in-house or outdoors, if they're a box or if they're a bigger public charging station. Unimi has been on the market since 2010, and in this area that is quite long, making us some of the veterans within this field. We are recommended by charge point operators, installers, hardware manufacturers, municipalities, etc. We operate in over 16 different countries with 15,000 unique installations and growing. And we have been known for having a very high quality on our products, delivering 2 projects in different countries in time. I think that is really it, and we are known also in the German market with some of the clients like Spar, Stadtwerke Stuttgart, Stadtwerke München, Repower, and so forth. So we're looking very much forward to come down to Essen and see you and meet you in person. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthias. And now I'm jumping over Skycraft again, and we're continuing with the last company in line, and this is Metacon.
Everybody, can you see and hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
I will try to take the remote control. Okay. Yes. It's too fast. Yes, I'm the commercial director of Metacon Germany. I'm the German part of the Swedish Metacon company. And we offer for the market the priority technologies to reform gas or using electrolyzers to produce hydrogen, heat or electricity. I'll take the other slide. That's the portfolio of the Metacon. You will see at the left side the PEM and the RAL electrolyzers. That's from other partners, China, and we have the catalytic reformer. That's the own technology from the Metacon. And as a combination of these parts, we can make plant solutions for the complete Stadtwerke, for example, or this kinds. We'll take the other. The current project of the Metacon is one is in the Abwidinge Wetgas. You will see this here. That's short. It's not so technical, but you can see the pictures at this slide. And the other project is the Abwasserverband Kempten. That's in Bavaria, it's in Germany. It's my part in this slide. I can tell you more about this. It's a field of hydrogen and Kempten Hydrogen Center. For this purpose, the project was installed and the AVKA is a participant, operates a mechanical biologic group treatment plant with fermentation towers. This complete capacity is designed for 460,000 people in this case. And the electricity production is currently to 830 kilowatt per hour at this point. And this the plan started in the third quarter of 2023. I hope so. When the German are working as well as we. And I'm looking forward to see you on the eWorld at a few days. Thank you. The next company is nothing. The last. Thank you.